Thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name again is Samsideen Alabi, and I'm representing the Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, Lagos State, Nigeria, to share with you our experience on carbon footprint and management. Lagos State has chosen to join the rest of the world in measuring to manage the impact human activities have on the environment and on the climate. The governor of Lagos State, through the Commissioner for the Environment, decided to put up seven policies in addressing the issue of climate change. This is because Lagos, of course, an urban city with lots of stress on our infrastructures, and the state government embarked on some urban renewal to increase the infrastructures, ensuring that Lagos State can join the rest of the advanced cities. And we know that we cannot do this possibly with the risk of climate change, of course, because we also fall on the coastal region, on the coastal line, and if we are to do anything seriously about development, then we must consider sustainable development. Because of this, the policies are in the area of adaptation and disaster risk management, climate change mitigation and low carbon economy, climate change governance, agriculture and food security, human settlement, security and health, as well as coastal and natural resources management. These are the 7 areas that the state government considered that we must seriously look into and develop different methodologies in ensuring that we can sustain the ongoing development. In order to achieve these policies, one of the mechanisms put in place to ensure that we can sustain the ongoing infrastructure development in Lagos State is encouraging manufacturers from Lagos State to transit from their present state of highly dependent on fossil fuel to embarking on a green product development. And because of lots of ambiguity in achieving this in my state, the Lagos State decided that we can come up with the Lagos State carbon footprint and management project. And this is being supervised by the Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency. So the project is concerned with measuring to manage greenhouse gas emissions of corporate organizations with respective products and government operations. In actualizing this, what we did in the project is to put in place some kind of public infrastructure to help different companies in being able to measure the footprint of their product. It is mandatory that all companies, all manufacturing firms, commercial centers in Lagos State must report to a registry, the Lagos State Carbon Footprint Registry. And in reporting, there are certain data entity that we have structured that they must, of course, report on. And where all these companies, as they report to this registry, then we build up the Lagos State Environmental Database. It is a database that as well encourages environmental sustainability measurement. It gives the possibility of a supply chain information system, imagine, and then it gives, some plugs in for logistics management. So the database is configured across all industries via online service and has connection to the Lagos State carbon footprint. In essence, different companies can be able compute their carbon footprint by making use of secondary data, because the way it is over there, we do not have a well-regulated transport system, and the logistic business over there is a whole lot of a problem. So in determining, in the companies collecting secondary data, it is of course a very difficult task for them to do. So because of this, the system that allows that we have computed greenhouse gases that are associated with different routes, so that if you fall on a certain route, then you can have access to secondary data for computation if you have to report about your organizational footprint, to give you source of scope 3 data of the GHG protocol, which is a protocol we have adopted in the reporting of the organizational footprint. So the Lagos State Carbon Registry, like I said earlier, is a mandatory reporting register for both organization and product carbon footprint. So the registry deploys a content management solution to enable effective report document transaction for base year comparison. So it means as different companies, report, send in their report more like their environmental, their annual environmental accounting statement. Once they send it into the carbon registry, we have put in place a good content management system that can allow real-time comparison of the information therein. So we also have in place environmental impact information system. The project adopted cost management system for measuring of the physical flows and determining of the carbon footprint of products. What we did in this regard is that it is a web service that allows different organizations to be able to compute their footprints, because it is very difficult for most of them to do the talent, the skill. There is a skill gap of most companies in Lagos State in being able to understand how to carry out footprinting. And many of them, believe me, were of the opinion that they don't think this is important, or this is per se, this will have effect on the development agenda of the state government. So we came up with this web service developed by experts in Lagos State, and it is a service that gives real-time application system for computation and communication of carbon footprints, of organizations and projects at the same time of products. So the supply chain system, the logistic management systems are all incorporated within the environmental impact information system. As a kind of measurement, or per se, as a kind of comparing or performance appraiser, the Lagos State came up with carbon labels. Although at the moment it is still, it is still progressive, it is still ongoing. There's no product, as I talk, that is carrying the label. But it is a belief that by the end of this year, there are companies, there are different products that begin to carry the label. So the labels introduced is one is to communicate the environmental impact of the product to the consumers, and we are planning a kind of campaign which is climate change conscious consumers. We want to embark a kind of campaign throughout Lagos State where the consumers can be conscious of the climate change impact of different products. So we have the first label which we have proposed, and that is the environmental impact of a product. Then the second one is to talk of how energy efficient is how energy efficient is a particular product during manufacturing process. So we do not only want to label certain grams of CO2 being emitted by a product, we also want to know what is the energy consumption of a particular product. The second, the last one, talks about the product life cycle sustainability. I have a diagram which I'll simply go through and then explain what the kind of information we try to communicate in this regard. The methodology, measuring PCF involves translating the monetary value of individual cost elements of a production cost account statement into corresponding physical quantity. In Lagos State, most manufacturing firms have a well-structured cost system, cost management system. And we have seen that the best way in allowing them to plug into this system is not to change what they do entirely, but to try to adjust the system they are known with the kind of information we want to get from them. And that is why what we normally do is to get their cost account statements, and then through a kind of auditing and investigation, we try to find out what are the different consumptions from the material, the vehicular mileage, that is, the materials, labor, and goods. Then we also consider the energy supplied through the national grid, and then the energy that they have generated in-house in being able to see the production process through. We also consider their water usage as well as waste produced. So, materials. We consider a whole lot of things with regard to the material they actually use in manufacturing, and this has to be with the materials are only considered in terms of quantity used up in a complete manufacturing process. You see, in a cost accounting system, it is normally direct material, indirect material, direct labor, indirect labor, and in accounting for this costing, it's normally through a financial year. So which means that there definitely can still be some work in progress by the time the financial year is expiring. We don't do in this way because of the ambiguity in trying to balance this computation. So what we normally do is that we consider a complete production process, that you have started the production process regardless of your financial year. You have started the production process, and you must complete it for us to determine the actual greenhouse gas emissions associated with a manufacturing process. So we have eliminated the work in progress, the opening stock and all that from the cost computation. So the boundary we have set is a complete production cycle for a certain product. Then we consider the vehicular mileage, that is the greenhouse gas associated with bringing the raw materials into production, the greenhouse gas emission associated with the direct labor that needs to travel from their homes to the factory, ensuring production, and also travel back. Then we also consider the greenhouse gas associated with transporting the actual product to the market. So the material carriage inward, greenhouse emissions, then the labor mobility, and then goods carriage outward. So we of course also consider the energy supplied, as I mentioned the other time. Energy rating of production equipments are taken, and machine hours put into production. These are configured against the emission factor of the electrical power distribution company in Lagos State, so that we can actually determine the energy consumption of manufacturing a certain product. But because there is a problem of energy in Nigeria, and most times, we may go without power from the national grid for months. Yeah, it does happen at times. And it means that we cannot actually just look at one direction. There must be a parameter by which we can know when energy is supplied by the national grid and when energy is actually being generated in-house. Although the federal government of Nigeria gave the order that all manufacturing companies must change from their diesel plant to gas plant by the year 2014. But the governor of Lagos State, in this present dispensation, which actually started, which began this year, May 29, decided to set up a ministry dedicated to energy and natural resources. And it is because the law in Nigeria is that it is only the federal government that can, legislate or consider or administer, power generation. So water usage is also considered. We also take the water footprint of the complete production process as part of determining the complete environmental footprint of products. So we want to consider that holistically. So the waste and other. So I'll quickly want to look at our sustainability configuration. And we consider that we use this as percentage in order to communicate information to consumers about how sustainable different products or different service or operations. So we have what we call ecological footprint, and that is the environment having material, sources, and then waste. As material is being taken from the environment, and this waste return polluting the environment. But at a point of consumption, after consumption, what can be done? Can it be recycled? Can it be reused? Okay, and then we consider all this. So we now take the percentage of materials brought into production, and the percentage that can be reprocessed, the percentage of the material that can be reprocessed, to give us the percentage of sustainability of such. It is just some kind of philosophy or some kind of way of thinking in a simple manner that how can we actually communicate environmental impact of organizations to consumer. So the project is still in its progressive stage, with the hope that the awareness creation will continue to mobilize over 30,000 corporate investors and public concerns in Lagos to key in and take advantage of this life-saving efforts of Lagos State government under the highly supportive authority of His Excellency. Thank you for listening.